How does one man, a brilliant, jet-setting COO, orchestrate one of modern history's biggest financial frauds, swindling 2 billion euros, and then just vanish? More importantly, how does he turn out to be a spy? This is the story of a ghost, a 2 billion euros black hole, and a financial scandal that was really a spy thriller all along. The story of
Jan Marsalek.
Vorstand Jan Marsalek.
Vorstandsmitglied Jan Marsalek.
Jan Marsalek, Wirecard, Milliardenbetrüger.
Hey guys, I'm Richard. I'm trying my best to share these stories with you, and if you like it, subscribing would mean a lot. Thanks. But now to the story. Our story begins not with a company, but with a character, Jan Marsalek. Born in Vienna, Marsalek was a different kind of prodigy. He dropped out of high school, but possessed a rare gift for coding, founding his first software company at just 19. He joined a small German payment processor called Wirecard in 2000, and his rise was nothing short of meteoric. By 2010, at only 30 years old, he was the chief operating officer, the architect behind the company's aggressive and seemingly brilliant global expansion. While Wirecard grew, becoming a darling of the German stock market, it was Marsalek who embodied its ambition. To the outside world, he was a charismatic, impeccably dressed executive with a taste for the high life. He wasn't just a COO. He was a visionary who pushed the company into lucrative and complex new markets, especially in Asia. This Asian business was his personal kingdom, supposedly generating colossal profits that fueled the company's unbelievable growth. But behind Marsalek's slick corporate image, his deception was already taking root. For years, journalists, most notably at the Financial Times, published investigations pointing to massive holes in the company's books. They alleged that profits, particularly from the Asian operations he controlled, were being systematically and artificially inflated. Yet, every single time, Marsalek and his allies fought back with stunning aggression. The reports were dismissed as bitter attacks from short sellers. Germany's own financial regulator, BaFin, even filed criminal complaints against the very journalists trying to expose the truth about Marsalek's operations. The strategy worked. For a while, the Wirecard machine kept humming, the stock kept climbing, and Jan Marsalek kept operating in the shadows, meticulously building a house of cards that was about to collapse. Then came 2020. While the world grappled with a pandemic, the disease of Marsalek's fraud was about to be exposed. The company's longtime auditor, Ernst & Young, refused to sign off on the annual accounts. The reason? They couldn't find 1.9 billion euros in cash that was supposed to be sitting in trust accounts in the Philippines, the very region Marsalek oversaw. This wasn't a simple rounding error. It was a quarter of the company's entire balance sheet. For days, Wirecard's public-facing CEO, Markus Braun, insisted it was all a misunderstanding, going on camera to reassure panicked investors. But the money wasn't misplaced. It was a ghost. It had never existed. That 1.9 billion euros was a phantom figure at the heart of a massive, decade-long fraud orchestrated by Marsalek. He'd allegedly been creating fake transactions and inventing revenue through a confusing web of third-party processors, many of them phantom companies in the Asian markets he personally controlled. On the 22nd of June, 2020, the game was finally up. Wirecard admitted the missing 1.9 billion euros probably didn't exist. The fallout was instant and catastrophic. The company's stock plummeted by over 99%. CEO Markus Braun was arrested, and Wirecard, once a celebrated tech giant, filed for insolvency. But as investigators began to sift through the wreckage, they realized the key player was missing. The man at the very heart of the fraud, the COO who held all the secrets, was gone. On the 18th of June, 2020, as the scandal was imploding, Jan Marsalek was dismissed. He calmly told colleagues he was flying to the Philippines to personally track down the missing billions and clear his name. To sell the story, he orchestrated the planting of fake immigration records to create a digital trail showing he'd landed in Manila and later departed for China. It was all a lie. A final, brilliant piece of misdirection. While the world was looking east, Marsalek was already gone. He paid for a private jet with cash, and on the evening of the 19th of June, flew from a small airfield near Vienna. His destination wasn't the Philippines, it was Minsk, the capital of Belarus. From there, it's believed he slipped across the border into Russia. The escape was clean, professional, and perfectly planned. This wasn't a man running in a panic. This was an asset being extracted. Within days, German authorities issued an international arrest warrant. By August 2020, Interpol had placed him on its red notice list, making him one of the most wanted men on the planet. The charges were immense: commercial gang fraud, embezzlement, and market manipulation. But Marsalek had vanished, leaving behind a 2 billion euros question mark. As investigators dug into Marsalek's past, the story took a stunning turn. This wasn't just a white-collar criminal. This was a man who, according to intelligence agencies and investigative journalists, was living a double life. For years, while serving as the COO of a major public company, Jan Marsalek was allegedly operating as an asset for Russia's military intelligence agency, the GRU. The picture pieced together by outlets like Bellingcat and Der Spiegel is chilling. Marsalek apparently had deep connections with Russian operatives. He traveled to conflict zones like Libya to reportedly discuss plans for building a mercenary force to serve Russian interests. He allegedly boasted to associates about his ties to spy agencies and his trips to Syria as a guest of the Russian military. Since Wirecard's clients included Germany's federal police, there were fears Marsalek could have offered Russian intelligence, a backdoor into highly sensitive law enforcement data. His escape to Russia suddenly made perfect sense. He wasn't just a fugitive looking for a safe haven. He was an intelligence asset being brought in from the cold. Investigations revealed that Russian special services likely helped orchestrate his escape and set him up with a new identity. The rabbit hole gets deeper. In 2023, a suspected Russian spy ring was broken up in the UK. British prosecutors later alleged that the group had been tasked and directed by Jan Marsalek to conduct surveillance and even abductions across Europe on behalf of Russia. So, where is Jan Marsalek today? While his exact location is a closely guarded secret, the most credible reports from German intelligence and investigative journalists place him in or around Moscow, living under the protection of Russia's FSB. It's believed he has been given a Russian passport and lives under an alias. Despite the international manhunt, the Russian government officially claims to have no knowledge of his whereabouts. There are even reports suggesting that, as part of his cover, Marsalek briefly posed as a priest in Russia, further highlighting the lengths he has gone to in order to disguise his true identity. From his sanctuary, he remains a dangerous and audacious figure. In a move of pure audacity, he had his lawyer send a letter to the German court during the Wirecard trial, painting himself as a victim, not a villain. Meanwhile, authorities allege his network remains active, carrying out espionage operations for the Kremlin. Jan Marsalek is still out there, a ghost in the machine. Europe's most wanted man and his full story still waiting to be told. Subscribe to the channel, because the moment Marsalek is caught, I'll bring you the update.